Joe Blasco again here with Ashlee Peterson. Ashlee, we've been talking about the passion that it takes and the love for the art and the enthusiasm and everything that, we want our artists to be. I think that what you are doing here at the Hollywood Makeup School, and also what's being done at the Orlando Makeup School and soon the New York Makeup School, Joe Blasco Makeup School in New York, is going to be a real tribute to what I originally set out to do.
Yeah.
When I came to Hollywood back in 1965, 66, and I had been doing makeup since I was very, very young. It was a hobby of mine from when I was 7 years old.
Right.
And by the time I had got to Hollywood, I was 17. I graduated high school, and I was quite accomplished. And, Ben Nye Sr. took me under his wing at his shop over on Santa Monica Boulevard, taught me cosmetics chemistry, taught me how to apply artificial beards, how to lay beards. All of these things. I was very fortunate. George Bout took me under his wing. He had just retired from Warner Brothers, and he taught me how to make molds and how to run foam, and in his garage, And Rudy Horvatish at ABC, Ben Nye Jr. at CBS. Oh, the list goes on and on. I had so many damn teachers. My head was spinning, but it was wonderful. It was a great experience because I was able to see all of the old timers. I came into the business before all of the old timers had retired or when they just retired. Had just retired and took me under their wing at their salons or their shops or whatnot.
Right.
And I was extremely fortunate. I was the youngest of the oldest and the oldest of the youngest.
Right.
So what I saw is that when I began working at ABC Television, and I had gone out first from 1966 to approximately 1971, 72, and then I started working at ABC Television roughly around 1972. I went into ABC Television, and I had been doing intricate aging makeups and films and all sorts of intricate makeups. And I went to ABC, and Rudy Horvatish, who was the head of makeup at ABC at that time, he said, "Okay, kid, you're pretty good." He says, "I'm going to put you on a show." He says, "I'll call you." So I go home, I'm sitting by my phone, right? And I'm waiting for the phone to ring, Finally, like 3-4 days go by, and I'm sitting there, with bated breath. Yeah. The phone rings, and I pick it up. It's Rudy Horvatish. I got a job, right? I was doing the makeup. He wanted me to come in and do the makeup for The Dating Game and The Newlywed Game. These, by the way, you younger kids, these are shows that were,
I loved those shows.
Yeah, they were game shows, and you just have to throw some makeup on people, pancake makeup, real quick and get them in, get them out, cattle call. And so when I went into ABC and I started working with the staff makeup artists, I saw what they were doing, and I honestly was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
I was disappointed as a makeup artist because here I had come up, taught myself, I struggled, came all the way up through the ranks, had done work with Ben Nye Sr. for a few years in his shop, and rubbed shoulders with all the older makeup artists who were just unbelievable geniuses with what they did. And then I came in and I saw what was being done in television there. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, real quick slap in the face with a wet sponge. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. This is not the makeup artistry that I have passion for.
Right.
So I started doing makeup the way I knew how to do makeup for ABC. And I made a lot of enemies. The staff makeup artists there didn't like me because of it. Right. Because they said, why? Why are you coming in here and ruining our gig? We don't want to work hard. We don't want to do that. We just want to come in, throw a bass on, and get in and get out of here.
Well, and not
said, I'm sorry, that's not me as a makeup artist.
Right, and it's not hard to make enemies in this business, by the way.
No, and we'll talk all about that. We'll talk all about that because I'm a master at that. But the thing is, and that basically happens from jealousies, all right?
Yes.
But we're not going to go there right now on this show, all right? We are going to go back to Ashlee Peterson. And where were you born?
I was born in a really tiny town in Northern California called Ukiah, and it had a small population of about 10,000 people, and then moved over to the Mendocino coast where it got even smaller, 5,000 people. I swear that population chart never changed. I mean, someone must have died and been born on the same day because the population is still the same.
When did you come to Hollywood?
I came to Hollywood probably in about the 8th grade.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Now, was there anyone in your family that was in the movie business?
Nothing. You have to understand, I had a dad for a lawyer who felt that the only way to succeed in life was, college, graduate school, become a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it was. So when I was with my mom...
From his point of view...
That's justifiable.
It's justifiable because he saw you going in the same direction as he had gone.
Well, yeah, and the 6 generations before him. And
right.
So, he wanted it to be Peterson and Peterson and Peterson.
Right.
And I just, I didn't fit that mold. And so I came to live with my mom in Los Angeles and went to school here, and that's when I got exposed to the arts.
Yes.
And I really sort of came into my own,
yes.
as an artist. And I have to tell you, and I say this to my students, and I say this on graduation day, because I understand I'm a parent. I mean, I'm a 38-year-old woman who's been in this business for 21 years. I raised a child in this business.
Yes.
I've so many remarkable things have happened to me as a makeup artist through success and passion and goals.
Yes.
But when I won my first Emmy, I had my dad go as my date because he still at that point could not understand. It was like if I didn't go to college, it was sink or swim. And you challenge me, and that's it. I said, all right, fine, watch me swim. Mm-hmm. But he didn't understand what the importance of makeup was, So I took him.
There are a lot of makeup artists that don't understand that. So don't blame your father. Don't put too much blame on your father.
I know. But bless his heart, I took him to the Emmys where we won for The Stand, and I really had no idea we were going to win. Right. And we got all dressed up and we went and...
Well, you had a little inkling.
Well,
yeah.
No, I really didn't.
Well, you were nominated.
The fact that I was nominated was overwhelming to me because as I said, I never had come into this for accolades.
What's the nomination process here? Do you nominate yourself? Do other people nominate you?
The show does everything.
The show does
it. And then, we put like a reel of clips together and a description of the techniques that we used and that type of thing.
Because when I was working, there was no such thing as an Emmy for makeup.
Right. Right.
This is a recent development. Well, not so recent anymore.
Right.
Now it's what? How many years
I
has it
mean,
been?
when I was doing Tales from the Crypt, there were the Cable Ace Awards.
Yes.
For everything that was on cable. Those don't exist anymore, and I won those for Tales from the Crypt.
How many do you have?
Well, I have 3 awards, and I think I have 7 nominations total.
Yes.
But as I said...
We have, by the way, all of our teachers that have won Emmy Awards and Academy Awards, we have them on display in the schools.
Yeah.
So when you come by to tour the schools, you'll be able to see and feel and touch and lift and see how heavy these things are. Give you a little...
Yeah. We'll knock you upside the head if you make the wrong choice. But anyway, I took my dad, and I got to tell you something. When they called my name... you were the first phone call I made when I won.
Yes.
After the next day.
Yeah, Matthew Mungo, he called me also.
Yeah, and you have to understand that I am not expecting to win. And there's a lot of, I had just had a baby, so there's a lot of other things going on physically in my body that were a little bit inconvenient to the fact that my category was 47 out of 53, as in, we won't go there. But, and it was like the first glass of champagne I'd had in 15 months.
Oh, boy.
And
so you were a little tipsy when you went up on stage.
No, I wasn't. But what I was stunned. And I was speechless.
It's like a wave that hits you.
You are absolutely, it's an out-of-body experience. And it's so emotional because you realize that your peers have given you this accolade.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have said, absolutely, hands down, that your work was the most outstanding.
Yes.
And when you go into something, not about the money and not about the awards, and you're presented with something like that, it stops you in your tracks.
Right.
My father says to me, Ashlee, you just won. You got to get up on the stage now. And I got up on the stage. We all got up there. You know, it was really, really critical that all 10 makeup artists be
on the stage.
there. I give credit where credit is due.
Did you see to it that each makeup artist received an Emmy Award?
Yes. Every makeup artist.
They don't get a certificate. They actually got an actual
They actually
award
got
like
an
this.
Emmy, yes. And we were a pack.
Now, are they still doing that? Are they still giving an Emmy to every artist if there's 20 makeup artists on a show?
You know,
or does the head get the
I think
award?
the head...
and then they give a certificate of some sort.
It's really up to the motivation
Yeah.
of the department head.
Yes, yes.
And where do they want to acknowledge the hard work of the rest of the people in their department, or do they want to take the credit alone?
Yes, yes.
You know, because...
Yes, which is old-fashioned, taking the credit alone.
Well, it's not very
and
thoughtful.
It's not, no, it's
and
not fair.
you're spending 16, 18 hours a day. You're
not
all
fair.
creating the same, you know.
Right.
So
You're all working together as a team.
You are. You're only as good
Your
as
names
the
are
rest
all on
of
the
your
screen.
department. Yeah.
So why should not everyone
acknowledge
also
everybody?
be rewarded with the award? This is 96 to 97 Primetime Emmy Awards. Outstanding makeup for a miniseries or a special. This is for Stephen King's The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was quite an achievement. I do remember that very well.
He was adamant that he was not happy with the film, so he... Mick Garris was the director also of The Stand, and we pulled the crew together, and we actually went and stayed in the hotel where Stephen wrote The Shining. Nice. And we had some pretty trippy experiences there. Like the pet cemetery is actually out in the backyard. I mean, all these things exist.
Yes.
And I was in the company of amazing artists like V. Neal.
Yes. Who was the department head on this? Was it V?
Bill was.
Bill Corso.
Yeah,
excellent.
He was. And then we came in as a group and did all of the prosthetic effects.
Yes, yes.
And I remember...
Now, V is another...
Oh, she's like a 6-7
an
time
icon.
Academy
an
Award
icon
winner.
in this business.
Yeah.
No, there are people that are department heads that really are department heads. Like in the old days, the department heads were really schedulers. They were makeup artists, but they would really rely on other makeup artists most of the time to come in and do the makeup. They'd schedule one makeup artist on this particular movie or 2 or 3 makeup artists on this particular movie, and they would supervise it. But they didn't lift a hand. They never did anything for the movie, but they got their name on the credits. And where I'm going with this is that today that system no longer exists.
No.
There are no department heads, studio department heads as there were in the past. Now each production has its own department head. All right? There's not a department head that is over several films being done in the studio. Each picture has its own department head. And that department head today, unlike a lot of the department heads in the past, are not just schedulers, but they are also fine makeup artists, as V. Neal is.
And responsible
exactly.
for
and responsible
everything
for everything, the
that's
continuity.
in the script.
Exactly.
Every effect, everything that has to be done.
Right.
And, you know, one of the things that I appreciated the most about you starting Joe Blasco School was that, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of this, is that it was, 1979 they started finally letting women do makeup?
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons, that I started the school. I thought that it was, well, there are women makeup artists before, and, they died 1,000 deaths each day, you know, because there was a lot of
Sure.
discrimination against
Absolutely.
women makeup
And look how
artists.
far we had come in women's
Yeah,
rights
because
at that point.
At that time, you know, the men were the makeup artists and the women were the hairdressers,
Right.
you know, and for a woman to get in to be a makeup artist, you know, was a very, very difficult process.
Let alone special effects.
And special makeup effects.
Yes, but you
exactly.
know, any of the stuff going on
Right.
in the lab.
Exactly, exactly. So when I opened the school, and I did not know this was going to happen. I opened the school because I was unhappy with the makeups that I had seen being done at the studios where I was working, and I thought, well, you know what? Let me create an army of makeup artists.
Yeah.
You know, that know what they're doing, that are taught techniques that I have learned from Ben Nye Sr., from George Bow, you know, from Lee Greenway, you know, from Bob Filippi, you know, Clay Campbell, Ben Lane. I mean, these are makeup artists that I worked with and whose names mean nothing to most of you younger people, but to you older people, you know who I'm talking about. These are icons in the makeup industry, the fathers of makeup artistry.
Yeah.
And I was so lucky to be able to learn from these people. And I took these techniques and I tweaked them, you know, because a lot of the guys were older,
Right.
you know, and their hands weren't quite as steady as they were. But I saw the techniques and I saw what they were trying to do, and I knew what they were trying to do, and I knew that maybe I could draw that line a little faster and a little straighter. Mm-hmm. You know, I could blend it a little more uniformly. And these were the techniques that I pulled together, and I started the school because I wanted there to be makeup artists who knew these techniques that I had been taught. And so many of them now, because of that, they don't know that they are using techniques that I have taken from all of these. There's at least 40 makeup artists that I learned from originally. And I've taken all of their techniques and all of my own techniques, and I've blended them all together into what we teach at the school. You're not even aware of that. I watch you do makeup. I watch her do makeup at the school when she's doing a demonstration, and I will see her do things that I taught her, that I learned from Ben Nye Sr., or that I learned from Lee Greenway.
And I'm completely unaware of it because I'm just...
She's not aware of it.
Yeah.
Or from Rudy Horvatish at ABC. And this is, to me, this is so satisfying because it's like these people are still living on in the fact that there are makeup artists who are using the techniques that they invented or, you know, perfected.
Well, and and to me, that's the beauty of education.
Right, exactly. So where were we going with this? We're going to another commercial. All right, we're going to be right back in just a second. We're going to talk a little more with Ashlee Peterson. Don't you go away.